Yo guys, Visionary Gen here, back with more Call of Duty Zombies content. Today's episode will be around D.I.E, the first Cold War Zombies map and first Cold War map on the Zombies channel. This is episode 7 of the Zombie series, with all of the previous episodes linked in the description below. The previous episodes are around World at War, Black Ops 1, Kino, Der and Draka from Black Ops 3, Origins from Black Ops 2, and Voyage of Despair from Black Ops 4, working my way from all the way through to Black Ops 6, which is current day, and then hopefully Black Ops 7 when it comes out in a couple months' time. So on that note, let's just get right into things. So I guess first things first, let's kick this off with an overview and briefly discuss Cold War as a whole, and what my thoughts on this map and game was, and what it is in today's game, as I do think that this game doesn't get anywhere near as much love as it probably should when you factor everything in, which we'll go over in this video. Cold War as a game was brought forward, I believe, by like over a year, or just over a year in this development cycle, to allow us to get a new COD back in 2020, to allow Sledgehammer the time to basically develop their next game, which turned out to be absolute shit anyways, which was Vanguard. Now Cold War, with very little development time, during the lockdowns or COVID era, with so much going on, and the player base solely playing basically Warzone at this time, Call of Duty was sort of in a bit of a weird period, and I think considering all of that, this game definitely deserves more credit for what it did in the community, although of course it probably is, you could argue, the worst Zombies map up there in comparison to the likes of maybe previous Zombies to this point, with the likes of Black Ops 1, all the way to Black Ops 4, and even World at War maybe, and probably is the weakest up there, like I said, of all of the Zombies. But that doesn't mean it was bad as such. That literally just means that the other titles previously were so bloody good, and I've gone over them, like I said, in all of the previous episodes so far on this channel. If you guys want to check them out, you'll hear how passionate and how much I love those previous games. And even this one, at least for me, this one is still very fun and a great experience, even with the giant overhaul, with changing the way the system is. I think it is definitely a good title, to say the least. And the way I sort of argued this in the past with a friend is basically, I'm a massive Formula 1 fan or an F1 fan, and basically you can't convince me that the person who comes last on the grid in an F1 race isn't necessarily a bad driver by any means. It just means that the competition he's racing against is even better, and you wouldn't necessarily then sit there and go, oh, that person who finished 20th is the worst driver on the grid. You simply just appreciate that the people ahead of him were better, and that's exactly sort of how I sort of perceive Zombies. I don't really, well, up until this point at least, we're not going to get into the Vanguard stuff and the World at War stuff, but the World War II stuff, sorry. But in this video, you can see that I'm going to go over Cold War as a whole, because at the time, I didn't particularly play a whole lot of sort of Zombies past D.I.E, and that has nothing to do with the actual Zombies in itself, as for the DLCs, which I'll eventually get around to grinding out in the coming months, and I'm actually super excited to play them, as I've never actually played them in myself, which is very rare for me, because I've almost played every single Zombie map in its time, and during the time it was out, but during this time, it just happened to be I was one of those players who played a whole lot of Zombies and pubs, grinding Dark Matter and pubs, because that's something I do. I share content of me grinding the Master Cameras every year, pretty much for the last couple of years, and that's kind of how I sort of started the channel and what I sort of first produced on this channel, if you guys weren't aware. But yeah, that's like something I really like to take my time doing, getting the Master Cameras, and therefore means I don't have enough time to play Zombies as much. Obviously, you can argue that maybe it wasn't as good, that's why I didn't play it, but that's not the case. It was purely because Warzone just come out about a year or so ago, the new map had just come out, so I was playing that, the sort of redesigned Verdansk version at least. It wasn't a new map. You had Rebirth eventually, you had a lot of stuff going on. I started playing a lot of ranked play online, I started playing a lot of game battles with my friends, because I've been playing game battles for a long time, S&D, all of that sort of stuff. So all of that combined is basically why I didn't play this. So just to make it clear, it was not due to the Zombies being poor or anything like that, which is what other players in the community have said, and that's kind of what I've been reading a lot about when you sort of look at the reviews of Cold War as a whole. But I do think it widely is misunderstood and kind of underappreciated for the most part when you factor in everything I've said so during the time. And like I said, I haven't played the other DLC maps on this game, so I'm super excited. It's worked out really well down the line, because I haven't played this in ages, and every time I come back to this game, it's just been super fun, and I cannot wait to sort of continue that on in a couple of months' time. I'm going to go back and sort of complete all of the Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, do them all, get through to, like I said, Black Ops 6, and then eventually Black Ops 7 comes out, and then along the way, juggle other titles as well to try and complete every single map. And this game, like I said, has changed a lot in Zombies, as I said, with an overhaul. It basically was always going to get some hate and backlash, because people don't like change. That, don't get me wrong, traditional Zombies is the way forward for me, but I do like the fact that they're trying to tune it, adjust it, make it different, so that it's sort of new and it just changes every year, but not too much. And I think that's where there's a fine line, clearly. If they change too much, it's not original, and if they keep it the same, maybe people get bored. But let's be honest, traditional Zombies is the way forward. It is the best, and I think a lot of players don't accept change, generally speaking. After all, I've been playing COD since 2007. I've been playing Zombies since World at War, and I've seen a lot of backlash over various different changes for even greater titles such as Black Ops 3 and even Black Ops 2. So it does happen in every title, and this one, I guess, just got it wrong for some people. But for the most part, I do think Cold War Zombies is definitely good. It brought us the salvage aspect, the body armor, the field upgrades with the likes of Frenzied Guard, Energy Mine, Ether Shroud, etc. All features that are still in today's game in Black Ops 7, which I guess we've all become accustomed to finally, which you could then consider that, and then maybe it does go to show that eventually people do begin to understand, and maybe even enjoy it at the very least, which was basically the beginning beginning or the biggest elements of Cold War Zombies and what it changed for the most part, and that is what players hated during that time. Of course, there were new perks in the game as well. The Elemental Pop perk is really cool, by the way, as well. I really love that perk, great design, but also the augments aspect. That was a great feature personally. I think I'm a fan of this because you basically have to actually play the game more and grind it more in order to actually benefit and get better versions of perks using those Ethereum crystals in order to improve your playing experience. And then when you think about although it does mean more sort of casual players are going to be hindered because they have to grind more. And for us sweats and die-hard fans, this is great because it's more of a challenge and something, I guess, outside of a purpose of just doing Easter eggs or beyond high round experiences. This just makes it meaning that you have to play the game more. Of course, the master cameras in Zombies as well is another thing. That is something I grinded on Black Ops 6, got Nebula, and that is something I'm going to continue to do on Black Ops 7 as well. Hopefully that camo there's going to be a new camo of some sort, which that's just like a different thing outside of those factors when you have the likes of the Ethereum crystals and having to develop and research and augment your sort of weapons, perks, field upgrades, all that sort of stuff. I absolutely love that. I think that's a great design, redesign itself, and a great addition to Zombies. Like I said, for us diehard fans, that means we have more purpose playing Zombies than just doing what we already have done for so long at this point. Now, as for the Easter egg on this map, it's a pretty basic one to say the least. I'd probably say it probably takes maybe an hour or so. I did it on my third attempt, but I probably should have done it on my first, to be honest. I was a bit disappointed that I kind of died, but I was literally relearning the video as I went along and sort of having to remind myself of the map layout, the wonder weapon, how you get it, all that sort of stuff, and just Cold War itself. And I kind of wasn't taking it as serious as I probably should have because I wanted to have done it first time to say that I've done it first time, but it does mean I got to play it 3 times. So that's always the positive spin I'm looking for and trying to make sure there's a positive outcome on it all, which means I got to play this map 3 times. I could play it more, of course, but I'm trying to, like I said, work my way through all of the newer maps and get all the way up to Black Ops 6 in present day. So it means I don't really want to spend too much time, of course, on all of these maps. But like I said, it does mean if you fail it 3 times, you get to play it 3 times. Or sorry, if I failed it twice and then do it on the 3rd time, I got to play it 3 times, which is all great and all in all when you factor that. Now, the wonder weapon on this map is awesome, especially when you pack a punch it and also obtain those elemental upgrades. I absolutely love elemental weapons. I'm such a simp for these things. They just really improve the experience for me. It literally makes a map that I enjoy just that much better. And when I discovered that this map had them, it made me want to play it just that much more. And honestly, this weapon is great. And I guess just out of curiosity, I was wondering about this. Where would you say, or what would you say the best elemental weapon in Zombies history is? Is it the staves from BO2, the bows from BO3, or something else? I mean, personally, I think it's close between the staves or the bows. My decision changes every single time I think about it. But then I guess an even easier question might be, what would you say the top 3 all time is? Because I guess it's pretty unanimous for the most part that those 2 belong in the top 3. Am I right in saying that? I guess let me know down below if I'm wrong. But then I guess for the 3rd weapon, would it be maybe the elemental krakens from Black Ops 4, the D.I.E wonder weapon from Cold War, which we're using in this gameplay, or even maybe the elemental swords from Citadel Day More from Black Ops 6, of course using some present day knowledge. And I guess let me know down below because I am very curious as to what players believe the best elemental weapons are all time in Call of Duty Zombies, or at least the top 3, because I have to think that most people, if not all in the community, like I'm 99% sure that it's going to be unanimous that the bows and staves are in every player's top 3, right? Like, I cannot see a world where they're not in the top 3 in terms of elemental weapons. We're not talking about just wonder weapons itself. That's a whole different conversation, and there's a lot more going on there. So I guess that conversation would need to be like a video in itself. But I'm just curious. Let me know down below if you guys have any thoughts on that, and if there's any top picks that maybe I didn't think of or say in this video, or maybe you have a really strong opinion as to why that maybe the bows or stars don't belong in here. Like I said, please let me know down below because I'm curious. Now, as for the Cold War wonder weapon, known as the D.I.E Shockwave, aka the D.I.E, which is pretty cool and resembling, I guess, the name of the Zombies map. But this thing is awesome, and it's upgradable into 4 different elemental variants. The D.I.E Nova 5, which is basically the gas version, probably my least favorite of the 4, which leaves behind this sort of giant AoE, this area of effect gas, which is effective for training, of course, but it's just not my favorite by any means. Now, the sort of second one is the Cryo Emitter, the ice or freeze version of this weapon. Very cool and arguably the best definitely probably is the best, but if not, it's like top 2 in my opinion. It's very cool, arguably the best, and especially through sort of straight line hordes or training spots. Then you got the D.I.E, the Electro Bolt, which basically I think is my favorite. It's between that or the ice, but I've always had like a soft spot for the electro and lightning elements in Zombies, and all the way through from Black Ops 2 staffs, from all the way through to now. It's always been like I don't know what it is. It's like I've got a soft spot for that element. And then the last one is the D.I.E Thermoplastic, which is basically like the fire or laser element. Now, all of these 4 are really cool. You don't really get much time to use them during the Easter egg because you kind of, as soon as you get the 4th one, you kind of just need to shoot the sort of giant canister. And I guess I'll go over the summary of the Easter egg in a second. Now, this Easter egg honestly is very simple. One of the easiest ones I've definitely done overall, and definitely the easiest in the Zombie series series so far up to episode 7. In case you guys weren't aware, I've essentially started my series from episode 1 and 2 being on World at War map, and then made my way through from Black Ops 1 to Cold War so far, sharing Kino, Origins, Rise of Dragon Voyage, like I said earlier in the video, and now D Machine. Now eventually my goal, like I said, is to replay every single map and complete every single main Easter egg, which basically is the requirement in order to put the video on the channel. That is what I have to do in order to do it. If the map has a main Easter egg, I cannot upload it and discuss that map in itself in its entirety unless I've uploaded it to sort of done the Easter egg. Therefore, I can upload it to the channel, and eventually I'm going to work my way through every single zombie map. That's kind of the goal of the series, and then eventually I'll start sharing Black Ops 4 Gauntlet and sharing tier lists, perhaps of the best maps, wonder weapons, elemental weapons, of course, as discussed, Easter eggs, and more. So I guess I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you weren't aware and you want to sort of stay tuned and look out for the future videos going forward, as I've got sort of loads of different changes in the way I'm going to do it in terms of changing between titles, going between Black Ops 3, 4, back to Black Ops 6, and then going back on myself, all of that sort of stuff. I've sort of redesigned it all to make it work and make it feel a bit more fluent in today's game as well. And now I guess, like I said, all of those are linked in the description below in case you guys are interested. Now, as for the Easter egg on this map, pretty simple, as I said. You literally turn on the power, you get Pack-a-Punch via the Dark Ether, the machine tool and stuff like that. Just quick note, this is not a guide. Obviously, I'm not silly. This is not going to be looked at as a guide. No one is coming to watch this video for a guide on the map. This is just me giving a quick overview for anyone that wasn't maybe aware or maybe needs reminding. But yeah, you literally collect the key card from killing the Megaton. You'll need this in order to get the free wonder weapon on this map. Then you need to collect the scope in 3 different parts. One's on the plane wing in the forest. One is in the spawn under the concrete stairs. And one is in the sort of metal stairs on the Pack-a-Punch. Basically, you go back in the Dark Ether, you collect all 3 parts, and then you craft the scope in the particle accelerator room, the main room on the bench. Then you need to collect the diary using the portal in the med bay. You collect the diary, you do the spirit step, you then basically get the password, you input the password into the viewing room computer in the med bay, you then collect the wonder weapon. As I said, you go and do the step to get the free wonder weapon, which is very cool and underrated in my opinion, as I said. And as I said, you need all 4 elements and all the upgrades in themselves to complete the actual Easter egg, which is essentially like the main part. It feels like, because once you've done this, you're like right at the end of the Easter egg before the final boss fight kind of thing. And then you need the electricity, which is, like I said, one of the best in the game. You need to collect all 3 of the crystals by sucking them up, using the wonder weapon, and then shoot them into the little box in the particle accelerator room. And then as simple as that, that is literally how you get that version. Then to get the elemental gas, you basically, it's a bit RNG. You need to obtain the gas canister from Narc. You then place it down by the deadshot valves, and then you wait for a hound to spawn, and then you need to kill it next to the canister to basically absorb the gas. And then you take it up to the forest, you put it down, you shoot it, blah, 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 and then that's done. That's how you get the gas one. Then you get the fire or the laser element, which basically is probably the easiest one to do. And the weapon is cool. It works very well against bosses and in straight lines. You just need to shoot the box in the plane with a sort of a normal weapon. You go into the Dark Ether, collect that part under the plane as the plane sort of goes up in the air, place it on the back of the truck by Nux, and that's as simple as it is. That's how you get that. And then for the final one, this is the ice one or the cryo one. This element, basically you need to shoot the box that is hanging above the sort of quick revive side of the map, above on the outside of Nuct, collect the flask that drops, have a megaton shoot the fungus, and then basically, which is on the side of the tree, wait for the flask to fill up, and then take it down to the medical bay, and that is all 4 elements done for the wonder weapons. And then using all 4 of the different elements, you need to shoot the large chamber above you in the med bay, and then eventually lure in a split up megaton to the 2 different variants into that area beneath it, and then effectively they'll go up. You watch the zombie be freed, you watch the little cutscene, collect the spanner, head back to spawn, use the spanner on the tank 3 different times, shoot the zombie at the top of the tank, use an explosive to basically shoot or fire on top of the tank, which will then shoot the sort of tree above the sort of broken plane area on the map, collect the golden ball that drops, take it down to the med bay, and watch the little cutscene as you place it into the sort of power box. Then you need to head back to Narc, find the spirit in the Dark Ether, and then interact with the photo frame, and then it will teleport you into the boss fight. Now this boss fight isn't easy, I wouldn't say necessarily, and also it's not really a boss fight compared to what I originally thought it was. I did go down, and I wasn't definitely as prepared as I probably could have been, but nonetheless, it's not too difficult, as well as the overall sort of experience of the map. It was a fun fight, to say the least. I definitely enjoyed this overall experience. Although it's definitely not like a special boss fight as such, it's still very cinematic and unique, and I personally enjoyed it with the darkness, especially then the exfil part. I recall doing this back in the day, and like 2 of my friends, I'm pretty sure, died along the way because they went different ways, or they got hit with the lightning bolts, and only one of you, I think, has to make it anyway. But like I said, I'm playing solo for the most part in all of these episodes and in this video, as you can see, and it does sort of add to the stress when you're playing with more people and not knowing if you're going to make it. And I just remember that being a really memorable experience for the most part. And overall, as I've alluded to all along throughout this video, I really quite like Cold War Zombies, and especially this map, and what this map brought the player base during the time. Like I said, I'm glad I came back to play this and set this up and re-experience Cold War Zombies over and over again, because this has been really fun so far to this point. Now, in summary, with that said, that's D Machine as a whole, the Easter egg summary, my thoughts on the map, Cold War as a whole, the zombies with the overhaul, new perks, craftable items, salvage aspect, 3-tier Pack-a-Punch, and body armor, and so much more. Like I said, I'm going to produce more Cold War Zombies episodes in the future weeks and probably in the new year, I guess. But I'm going to work my way back to Black Ops 3, do Black Ops 4, get to Black Ops 6, and then get into Black Ops 7, and then juggle other maps along the way. It's kind of the sort of plan in case you guys want to be still stay tuned and look out for more content on the channel. With that said, that's the video as a whole. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks about playing Cold War Zombies, or in general, or even any suggestions about future videos that you want to see on the channel, let me know down below and I'll get right back to you. I'm reminisce. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.